I never thought I'd get the chance to quote this, guys, but there simply aren't enough neutrinos. I never thought I'd get the chance to quote a very obscure high school physics video explaining the mysteries of particle physics, but here we are. This is the neutrino, and true to form, there simply aren't enough of them. And that's because this is an example of a blaster from Northeast Designs where there just weren't many of them made. You could see that the intention was to make many of them. This is serial number 2 after all. Serial number 1 remains with Shay of Northeast Designs. I actually don't think that serial number 1 is functional or together, although I don't know that, which means that I think this is the only neutrino currently in working order. It was bought by a guy down here in the SENC, the finest foam flinging club around, and he didn't want it anymore, I guess because he decided that it was too quirky or too niche for his needs, and I just have such an interesting collection of oddities that I couldn't pass up the chance to pick it up for a steal. So I get to make a video for you guys about this half-length driven solenoid blaster flywheel thing that predates pretty much all of the other things in that category, and that's part of what makes it so cool. I also like that it has like this fin design on the back, this sort of optic. It hides its 3S battery in here, and this back strap is specifically to hold its solenoid. So whereas most of these micro wheel designs are actually quite poor, they're mechanically unreliable, the neutrino, despite the fact that, you know, they didn't the controls are a little jumpy and they didn't make any of them, winds up being really, really interesting, really, really cool. So I think that it's a neat concept. It's got a dual stage trigger. You can see that on both sides. This one that comes down further is the rev switch. And then this one here on the other side is the solenoid driver. And they hit switches that are kind of exposed up here. The springs are exposed here, which, you know, if you're familiar with the other Northeast Designs portfolio works, the Chimera had a lot of exposed screws and stuff like that as well. So I don't necessarily mind that. It's using proprietary steel plates on the side that you sink the hardware through, and that's, again, another part of why these are hard to produce. Right now, Northeast Designs is producing the Venturi, and to be fair, without the factory Amsterdam warping and forming all of the sheets that go into the Venturi, I don't know if that project would be possible either. So in a lot of ways, the neutrino paved the way for the revised Chimera as well as the current state of the Venturi. It kind of is a thing, it's full of mistakes and charm that makes it so special, but all of that is to say that this is a really funky, vaguely fish-looking thing, and if you know anything about me and homemade blasters, I love vaguely fish-looking things. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna throw a Talon in it. It is a Talon-only kind of blaster. The mag release on mine is a little funky. The mag release is, of course, ambi for some reason. It's on this side and this side. Once you've got it seated, it's actually pretty comfortable to get it to work. But I'm gonna reseat that, get it lined up properly. I'm gonna fire it a few times for you just because it's a semi-auto solenoid driven fish thing. It's very heavy, particularly back heavy, because both the battery and the solenoid fit in the back like this. So you have to be ready to kind of fight the recoil on it, which sounds silly for a Nerf blaster, but it is a silly Nerf blaster. Here we go. And that's pretty much it. We'll take it outside, we'll put it over the chronograph, we'll give you our final thoughts on this funky one-off. All right, so we're outside with the neutrino, but Jinx had to say hello. She wanted to show you guys specifically, she's trying to match her Aunt Addie. We've been grooming a mohawk onto her. We can't decide if we're gonna chalk it up green or blue. I guess it depends on what's going on over in Foam Blast land, but we thought that she would like saying hello. The weather has just been so great recently that she had to come out and be in the videos with us today. Of course, that's my bad. I did set her immediately in the line of the chronograph. No, now it's worse, sweetheart. All right, so like I said, this thing is a little funky. You have to kind of click down the click in, and then you have to just make sure that you're sort of applying torsion. This is almost a prototype, so there you go, Jinx. Go get him. Go get it. Excellent, excellent work. So we get to put a few over the chronograph this way. Again, this is the rev trigger. You could do them both with one finger, and then this is firing. So. It's stuck. So we had like an interesting hiccup there. I guess the solenoid pusher wasn't 1000% reliable. I've had pretty good luck with this. I had good luck with it in the workshop. But we're hitting mid 120s. This is actually, does that make it the perfect end war blaster? I don't know. The reliability part's probably a question there, but and again, I wish you guys could feel the cha-chunk, cha-chunk, cha-chunk back and forth. Looks like we have 5 shots left. I actually have this set up for a different video, so it's a good 60 feet down there, but you know, who knows? Maybe we'll see. And none of those hit, but that's okay. So it's not a competitive blaster. It would be a cute HVZ blaster, but sometimes it's fun to just take a look at blasters from the past and see kind of what could have been and how it affected the now. And I don't know. I mean, any excuse to collect a very unique, very funky blaster for my personal collection is always fun. Like, why did they put a lightning bolt on the back of the solenoid thing? The solenoid isn't a lightning bolt. I don't know. It's very funky. You've got these cooling vents here for passive cooling on the side. Again, the overall aesthetic of it is a lot of fun. I wish it had gone a little bit further, but it was right around the time that NED took their big break. So who knows? It's just a funky relic, and it'll sit in my archives as like a testament to things that could have been. The overall concept of a super small solenoid-driven pistol, I think that has a ton of merit, and I hope that somebody develops it a little bit further in the future. Much love, blast on, Drac out.